Hey everyone, this is Yuri or Lord Fury 83 from FuriousFX.net. Today we're going to talk about smart money concepts divergence, or what I call comparative divergence, because you're comparing two pairs. And how are you able to predict uh, essentially the tops or bottoms? I got a lot of emails asking me to cover this, so I decided to go public with it and tell everyone how that works. Um, Now, of course, I've been told there is a ton of videos of ICT, so not to take anything from him. I never watched his videos, so I don't know if it's the same thing, if it's different, if it's harder simplified. Obviously I heard a lot about the guy, so he probably did a lot of things. So just want to mention that I did not learn divergence from him. I learned divergence from John Fibonacci originally, and then I developed my own concepts of how to trade with it. Pardon me for no video today. I don't look my best, but let's begin. So, what is divergence? So, we have currencies that are economically involved with each other, right? The countries like Britain and Europe, right? We have dollar index being the most important index because it shows us the strength or the weakness of the dollar, and dollar index is comprised 60% or 58% of euro, and about 13 or 12% of Great British Pound, and then the rest you can look it up. But essentially, when Brexit happened, let's say, it affected both Great Britain and euro. And when the dollar is showing strength, typically you'll have both. Well, all the major pairs will be bearish against the dollar and vice versa. So certain pairs correlate with others, and if you really want to see the correlation, you can go to this website called my FX book, right? Market correlation here, and on the market correlation page, you can find currencies that correlate more than 80% on one day right now to know what's in sync. So this is a very useful tool. If you don't have it, I'll post it under the video below, as well as I'll post the links to our websites and Propfirm and everything that I personally recommend. Before I go further, if you guys are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification button, appreciate it. And also know that Forex involves risk, and trade at your own risk and always do your own research. Okay, so having said that, let's go back to the charts and continue our conversation. So metals correlate as well. So gold correlates with silver, right? So if you can see, right, from here, I'm just looking zoomed out from the chart, we can see that as silver going down, gold is going down as well. So they are correlated. We call this correlation, right? They're correlated currencies, so they're moving in sync, right? So I just drew a line, a vertical line, which helps visually to say that I'm going to now look for divergences from this point on, because I know from this point on, as silver is making a lower low, gold is making lower low. As silver is making lower low, gold is making lower low. So for this video, I want to just concentrate on the basics, right? So the basic rule of finding divergence is just three things, right? The first rule is, if you can spot a downtrend, right? We're making lower lows, lower highs. If you spot a downtrend, you are going to measure, right, only the lows going down. So here we can measure this, and we can measure that. We can measure this, and we can measure that. And you can see that low to the low, gold is making low to low. I'm going from above. It's the most common mistake. As we're going down, people will be sending me charts measuring from the top, and let's say this was going up, and saying that this is divergence as we're going down, and I right away reject them, saying that this is not a divergence unless the bottoms are also doing this. You've got to go from the bottom on a downtrend and on the top from the uptrend. So that's the first rule, right? Very easy. The second rule is, this is the actual trick. If you have traded smart money concepts for a while, you understand that there is manipulation. There are players, the banks that manipulate the markets. They hunt liquidity. They take out the stop losses and then go the other direction. All that is basics, right? So you understand that they can manipulate one pair, and you will see one pair sweeping the lows, right? Some kind of equal lows or an obvious wick or something, right? They sweep the lows, then go up, right? But what you might have not known that they don't necessarily do this, or at the end of the cycle, they don't do this on both correlated pairs at the same time. So what happens is, as one pair is taking out liquidity, the other one will probably be already mitigating, aka lessening the burden or getting out of drawdown. So we call the first pair that takes out liquidity the leader. We call the second pair the lagger, right? So it's coming after. So the second rule of divergence that I'm going to teach you is simply this. You need to spot on one pair as you're going down and measuring lower lows. You need to spot one pair taking out liquidity while the other one mitigating. So as we go along here, we're coming, we're measuring lower low, right? Lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. And check out what happens after that, right? We have a lower low on gold, right? Taking out liquidity. But what happens on silver is we have a higher low at the same time. And before this higher low is formed, we have taken out the order flow. We are no longer mitigating from the top. We are now mitigating from the bottom. What this shows you is comparatively, relatively to this pair, one pair to the other one, not to some indicator, right? That's relative divergence, where you compare it to an indicator to like a relative strength or a MACD or whatever stupid indicators. Anyway, so this is you comparing two pairs, right? So it's showing you that, hey, as gold is still showing weakness, silver is showing strength already against the dollar. So that's the second rule, right? We identified that as gold is taking liquidity, silver already taken out liquidity at that point and is now mitigating, right? And the third and simple rule is you always take the pair that is mitigating, right? Now, in the following videos, we're going to get more in depth on how to actually enter this and different types of divergences. But for this video, I just wanted to make it simple for you. So first, identify the pairs that are correlated. Then draw a vertical line, right? Draw a vertical line to know where you're starting. On the downtrend, look for lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, no matter what highs are doing, as long as the downtrend is maintained and this high is not broken, you're just looking at lower lows, okay? Then find out where one pair is making a lower low, the other pair, making a lower low, the other pair is making a higher low here in this example. So one is taking out liquidity, one is mitigating, and then take the one that's mitigating. That's it. Simple. Let's I don't know, let's dive into another example. I don't even know what you guys want to see. Let's go to a JPY, a UD JPY against NZD JPY. Again, Australian dollar correlates with New Zealand dollar. Why? Because they're both islands that are closest to each other, even though 1,000 miles or something. But their economy affects one another. They're biggest trading countries. Gold gain or loss affects them. So all of that makes them correlated pairs. And JPY obviously is a common denominator. That's the quotient quoted pair. It should be the same, right? So now you got Australian dollar versus New Zealand, right? And by the way, time frame doesn't matter. The only thing I can tell you is the higher time frame, the more accurate divergence will be. But you can, the entry techniques obviously will be different. But if you can spare the stop loss on a higher time frame, or if you're a swing trader, the higher the time frame, like I said, the better the divergence is and the more accurate it is. So let me just quickly glance through this and see if I can find one. Yes, we are doing it in hindsight, but it works the same way forward, and it's actually, in my opinion, easier in live markets. Of course, nothing is 100%. You're still going to have losing trades, still going to have winning trades. If I remember correctly, it was about 70-30 when I was trading strictly divergence for entries. And maybe that's not a good and the market's been very choppy lately, so bear with me. See if we can find something very good to show you. Oh, well, there's one right here. That one's going down. This one's going up. By the way, I don't include the wicks in my comparison, so if you want, you can always make it the line graph, and it will eliminate the wicks if it's easier to see. Actually, I do know there was an amazing divergence that everybody would like to see, so that's the last thing I'm going to show, because I remember looking at that, even though I don't really trade crypto or just invest in crypto. This was something you guys would like to see, I'm sure. So yes, you could have predicted the Bitcoin crash, aka Luna crash. So let me show you. Back in, so right here, right? So Bitcoin, obviously cryptocurrency leader, first cryptocurrency ever, right? It's going to be like an index for indices, right? It's going to be the leader for the most part. Okay, so whatever it does, the most cryptocurrency will follow. So if you look, right, as Bitcoin increases, so is Luna for the most part. Now they got some wild swings, and by the way, even if you're going from the bottom, right, and they're uptrend, so you measure from the top. So even if you're measuring here, you can see how boom, Bitcoin is making a lower high as this is 1 hour, as Luna is making a higher high, and you could have sold Bitcoin here and get a little gain here. However, this divergence is not very good for one single reason: we don't take out structure, right? We don't take out structure before we come back and form a lower high. That's why this shit is counter trend and doesn't really work out. But for a little bit, it does, right? So anyway, so if you ignore this and just put a line, where is my vertical line? Put the line over here. We can see that as we're making higher highs, we're now in sync. So boom, we're making a higher high, we're making a higher high, we're making a higher high, we're making a higher high. And then what happens? As Luna continues to show strength and getting pumped up, Bitcoin has moved down. And watch this, guys. It has broken order flow, right? This low is below this, and it failed to make a higher high, instead mitigating right here, right? So we got Bitcoin as the leader, Luna as the lagger, Bitcoin mitigating, Luna taking out liquidity. So what do? We sell Bitcoin at the price, judges say, of 47,200 somewhere, right? Even if you put your stop loss at 48, which is 800 pips, you know, we all know where Bitcoin ended up. It's like $18,000 down, right? So, and then what happens is Luna starts crashing, and we all know how that ended up. Now, typically the here's the thing. Somebody might ask me a question of why would you sell Bitcoin if Luna, you know, falls all the way to zero? You would have made much more money. That is true, but that's gambling, because you're not guaranteed that the lagger is going to come down, because divergence can continue, right? It can continue on the daily, on the weekly. That's how, you know, time frames work. So who's to say that we're not going to keep going as Bitcoin's coming down? So you have no guarantee that the lagger is going to come down, and if it does, you don't guarantee that it's going to go as far. In this case, it was because of, you know, investor panicking, because billionaires shorting, all that shit. But the point is, you always take the leader, because it's already giving you proof and confirmation by breaking structure and coming back, mitigating from the other side, that it's showing, in this case, weakness against the dollar, and it's going to be coming down. So I hope you liked the session. Leave some comments, ask questions. Again, if you want to join our free Discord, free public Discord, I'll drop a link at the video below, in the video description below. If you want to join our lifetime, you can lifetime membership mentoring group, you can always go to curiouseffects.net, or hit me up at LordFury83 on Instagram, or hit my partner up at Ryan Billenberg on Instagram, and get in touch with us. Yep. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one.